the ring being in effect a one-turn shorted secondary. A smaller ring will react even more violently. Here is another ring. This one made of a material we say is non-conductive. And it is completely unaffected. Here is another example. Several thousand watts of power were involved in that spark. If we replace the spark gap with a copper coil, the same power now flows through the coil. It's invisible, has no effect on many substances, but it can generate a lot of heat. Wood, paper, things that we think of as being quite inflammable are not affected at all. However, a piece of steel wool bursts into flame instantly. Did you ever fry an egg on a coal stove? It's no trick at all if you have the right equipment. This is a cold hot plate, and because it's cold, you can make it out of wood, if you like. Just be sure that there's a coil of wire inside and that you connect that coil to a high voltage alternating current source. The rest is easy. As long as we're being different, we'll use motor oil instead of Crisco. The egg fries very quickly, but the stove remains perfectly cold. In fact, if you wish, just to keep it handy, you can fry your egg on the morning newspaper. With a gadget like this, you can get up in the morning, sit on the stove, read the morning newspaper, and fry the eggs in your lap. Another example of the fact that physical forces can be quite selective in their effect. All of the examples which we have cited thus far have been in the physical realm, and of course have been limited by that fact. We can, however, cite examples that transcend the purely physical and clearly demonstrate the reality of these two worlds. We find the examples in the historical record of this book. In the opening chapters of Genesis, we find God and man in perfect harmony. These two worlds are one. And then something happened. Man sinned. Man disbelieved and disobeyed God. And immediately God withdrew himself from man and placed a barrier, invisible but very real, between himself and man. That barrier has continued to exist throughout the ages. But 20 centuries ago, according to the Bible, God became flesh and dwelt among us. He didn't remove the barrier. Instead, he stepped across it. He became flesh and blood as we are. And in so doing, he provided the way that we in turn might cross that barrier back to him. For 33 years, Christ lived on earth. Then he died on a cross outside the city of Jerusalem. But on the third day, he rose again.